Greetings, Mega Man fans, and welcome back to the Mega Man Rock Force LPA. In this episode, it's Grudge match time. Title defense, Shockman. Let's dance. Yes, I own Punch-Out Wii, and yes, I've seen my brother play it nearly to death. Why do you ask? So, we're back in the intro stage, except now it's nighttime and there's this poor little Shockwalker boxed up there that no one remembers. And he also serves as our introduction to the fact that when Shockwalkers land on these specially marked floor tiles, they get zapped, and you take damage if you're standing on them. So that is their intriguing, dangerous behavior. Good to know, because that's got a lot of influence on the stage. In this section, in hard mode, it's a lot trickier than the simple Shockwalker and Met combos. However, as it adds an extra enemy called Shock Flocks, which they're basically Rotomotas, right down to the fact that they come in packs. Except when they move, they drop explosive charges behind themselves that also zap the floor. This makes this section a lot more hectic than it is right now. And we have ourselves a mid-boss. This is Metmonger. It's a big flying Met with an electrical cannon that shoots shots every second round. It's not too terribly difficult. That being said, don't underestimate it. The angles of its firing are strange-ish. Like, I would not be able to tell you mathematically what some of these angles are. Both the cannon on it and its helmet defend it from attacks. The face of Metmonger is its weak point. That being said, as you saw, still not hard to dispatch. I could probably have dispatched it without taking damage, but I wasn't very focused. And that was an Opticharger that I just wrecked. And that's a shock chain. It launches these electric shocks along itself at a set rhythm. Knowing this rhythm obviously helps. I do want that E-Tank. For bonus dangerous points, they zap the floors, as do most things in this stage. And as additional fun, they count as detection-based enemies. Meaning if you're cloaked like this, they don't see you. Which is a necessity if you want to get that weapon tank down there. For those of you who were wondering exactly how to get it, because I know I was stumped on it for a while. I think I could use a little healing. Doggy! Healing! All is well. And here we have a Met. And another new gimmick. These prods that will shock the water beneath us again at set intervals. This room originally didn't have those prods. The water was just shocked inexplicably at a set rhythm. But then the prods were added. Then their starting place was lowered to make it so you couldn't accidentally slide into the water and then get zapped for your impatience. And then that Met was added to block the place off. And this intro has evolved constantly. As a note, it was someone on the forum who actually came up with the Met thing, so kudos for that. Anyway, the jellyfish enemies I've been blowing up with no comment are JEL 101s. As clearly demonstrated, they explode. And I'm gonna want to wait They explode when you kill them, but otherwise they just swim around. Although on hard mode, they also drop explosive charges. Oh, if I was literally even a second slower, I would have been zapped. The zaps aren't instant death, but they can kill you in 4 hits. So it's still a poor idea to let yourself get zapped. And interesting little setup here with the ladders. Except you can also totally skip part of it. That being said, though, the proper way to do it is to climb up on the right ladder, and then just, well, do the rest of what I'm doing as shown. And shield attackers. Kinda goes to show you that the intro stage was basically this one condensed. And with the ricochet gimmick added, because you don't really need to ricochet anything at anyone's face here. Yeah, I know, I'm going a little quiet. There's not much to comment on with shield attackers, I admit. It's a tougher set of sections than the shield attackers in the intro stage, but still fairly easy. And unless you have poor aim like me, generally very quick. That jump right there is probably the hardest part of the section. It's rather easy to bonk your head on the ceiling and then get skewered for your troubles. And now, Shockwalkers return, along with the chains. This is a lot more hectic than that first room was, or indeed any other room with the zabbies. Ow, I thought I was safe to stand there. Evidently, I was wrong. I do like how how those 2 past gimmicks are combined for this final room. Makes for a nice, cohesive ending to the level. That being said, besides that one screw-up from earlier, still not that tricky. The stage itself is really not hard. Probably one of the easiest of the Robot Master stages. That being said, that's only the case if you are precise and very good at remembering the timing of things. If neither of those are accurate, expect a far more challenging level. Anyway, Shockman himself. This time, he's gotten over his cowardice and fights us face to face. He has a few attacks with clear telegraphs to them. And a variously set pattern. He will either walk towards you or triple jump towards you, and then he launches one of his attacks, and then he jumps straight to your location, and then his pattern repeats. His attacks, as you saw, is either he raises his hands into the air and launches them into the walls, and then launches 3 electric bolts along his arms, which are now spontaneously invisible. Alternatively, he launches his hands into the air, grabbing the ceiling, and then shocking himself with lightning bolts, shocking the floor. And every time he lands, he shocks the floor. Despite the description of it, he's probably the second easiest Robot Master in the game to do no damage, after Cryptman himself. This is actually only my second attempt at taking him out, so that should tell you something. He's very easy and is probably the best choice to pick first. Especially since the next Robot Master in the weakness order after Shockman has one of the best weapons in the game. Though Shock Gauntlet is no slouch. As you saw, it can hit multiple enemies, and I think it can do multiple hits, and it grabs items for you. Very nice weapon. Little lower on scale than the other ones, but still pretty solid. And, with all of the beat letters, I now have beat. He's it's basically beat from Mega Man 5. No comment on Charade Woman. And finally, we unlock Elecman, who obviously I have to show off. Elecman is the fastest of the characters. His run speed is basically the exact same as his slide speed, meaning he gets to places. He also has a Mega Man X-style wall jump. So you can save yourself from jumps with him really rather easily. Finally, no fancy funny business. His attack is just straight up, he launches Thunder Beam. And will murder practically everything in the immediate vicinity. To say that Elecman is one of the single deadliest Rock Force members, well, you'd be right. Elecman is just as powerful as we've come to expect him to be. With his high speed, his wall jumping ability, and the incredible range behind Thunder Beam, his only real weakness is the fact he can only have one Thunder Beam spread on screen at once. As far as weaknesses go, this isn't a big one. Even boss fights he handles relatively well. His agility allows him to basically run circles around just about every boss. So, he doesn't really have that hard a time. So, congratulations Elecman, you're freaking potent. Just like we'd hope you would be. And with that, that's all I have to show this round. So, for the next episode, we'll be going after someone a little older. Both figuratively and quite literally. So, until then, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I shall see you again for the next one. Until then, goodbye!